'Cause I can skin a buck, run a trot line. Country boy can survive. I know most of you know how to skin a deer, and I'm by no means the innovator in deer skinning, but several people have asked me to do a video on skinning a deer, and I want to show you a few things I've learned over the years. Maybe that'll help you out. Champ, calm down. We've done this before. Anyways, I want to show you just a couple little tips, and I won't go through the whole process, pretty much self-explanatory. But one thing I do want to talk about is that right inside this joint here on the back kneecap is the tarsal gland, and they turn black, and when deer are in a rut, they pee in between their legs, and it runs over these tarsal glands, and they rub them together. So they get real black, they're urine soaked, they stink, and if you get that stink rubbed all over your meat's gonna stink. So some people start down here, because the tarsal gland's right here. Some people start here and skin down. Well, here's the problem with that. The hair up here is real short. The hair as you go up this leg gets thicker. Anytime you're cutting through skin, you're cutting hair follicles loose, and that hair gets on your meat. If you will make those cuts up here where the hair is shorter, then you have less hair, and the hair that does get on your meat is up here in this joint, and you're not going to eat this joint. So I start up here and then go down. If you have a skin and gambrel, that's better, and you can do this while the deer's laying down or on the front of your four-wheeler. But I don't have a gambrel, I just tie one leg, so I'm going to start right up here above the kneecap, and it's always better, I'll show you right here. It's always better to put your knife in the hide and cut out of the hair, because when you cut through the hair, all that hair just blows around and sticks all over your meat. And a lot of times, bad meat is nothing more than it has tons and tons of hair in it. So there, I've made that cut around the leg, you can see it. Rather than cutting down the inside of the leg and going through that tarsal gland, I'm going to either go low down the front, or I'm going to go right down the back. This time I think I'll go down the front. Now the deer's already been gutted, butt's already been cut out, everything's been removed. We're just getting the hide off here. I'm not going to touch that tarsal gland. I'm going to grab above it and below it. Now I'll grab the other side of that incision and trace it down. And I'm not grabbing the tarsal gland. Now I'm grabbing the inside. I've never touched that tarsal gland. It turns so black. Now when you get it down to like that, you can usually just grab it and give it a pull, and you'll see what needs to be cut loose. And that's all you're doing the rest of the way. You're pulling out and seeing where it needs to be separated from, and just tracing that with a sharp knife. The only hair I have on this deer leg is right here and from the gutting incision. All this is clean meat. You got that. Let's move on. Okay, I want to say something about knives here. If you don't own you one of these, this is a Daily Chef food service from China. You get a 4-pack of these at Sam's. They're like a little paring knife. You get a 4-pack for like $6.50 at Sam's wholesale club. You know, if you got, probably get the same thing at a, what's that other one? Get away from the deer, dude. Costco. You could probably get them at Costco. They're real thin blade. You can hit them on a steel and keep them just real sharp. They're great for reaching in here and making cuts. The only thing I didn't show you is when we get to the tailbone, it's just a series of joints like the backbone. Get your knife in between the joint and just cut through the cartilage. So you're down to here. The other knife I use is special to me. This one, a guy in church and I made this together. This is a Bob Devers knife. And he custom makes knives for people. And he made this one. I'm going to get up here close and show it to you. I'm proud of it. And I've been using this thing a lot. I've skinned a number of deer with it in the last couple of years. This is a shedded deer horn that I picked up one time hunting in Texas. So that's the handle on it. You can see the, I don't know what you call that, the spine. Kind of has like a thorn or ivy look. He calls this his skinner. I like a short bladed knife. I don't want a sword fight, I want a skin. A long knife, I tend to poke myself or poke through the hide. So I like a short knife, and I like to put my finger right down the top. And that's why I like these two. Super cheap, priceless. Super cheap, priceless. Another thing, when you're making your own knives, you can make your own holsters. I never carry a holster on my hip. I carry a backpack when I hunt. So I don't have a great big holster. I just have a holster that covers the blade. Clips on there, it doesn't come out. I throw that in my pack when I get ready to gut or skin. I pull that out, I'm good to go. So I like a small knife, that's me. Now if I was doing elk and buffalo, probably go bigger. But I ain't doing elk and buffalo. I'm doing deer. So, I'll turn this back on when we get to something interesting. I'm just pulling the hide and cutting where it's attached. And I'm just tracing around. Now on a deer, you don't, this fat looks, oh man, look at the fat on that old buck. Boy, he's healthy, yeah, but deer fat tastes like crap. So you want to kind of follow close to the hide. It's okay to be cutting through the hide in places because that fat is not going to make your meat better. It may make your deer healthier, but it ain't going to give you any good taste. So let me get the rest of this off here. These shoulders are going to be a bloody mess. So I'm going to show you how I do a shoulder on this side before I go any further. Up to this point, I'm just pulling. You can just about pull it. Now you see that white connective tissue? You just trace that with your knife around. It all comes loose. You can pull again. Here's another good thing to know. Don't be reaching up in here grabbing hair and getting hair all over your hands and then patting your meat. Reach up here and grab the skin on the skint side, and it'll keep you from getting that deer hair all over where you're going to eat, okay? So once you get enough hide out that you can grab a hold of, you always grab a hold of the skint side, okay? When you get to this front shoulder, there ain't much meat right here. So we're going to stick our knife in right here in front of the kneecap. Remember what I said about going in the skin, cutting from the inside out? Okay, now that I've done that, you've got a hairline where the hair from the inside and the outside come together. I stick my skinny knife blade up in there. And I just run that all the way to the front. Now I'm thinking about mounting this deer, so I'm going to do things a little differently. I don't want to damage this brisket. That's going to be showing. Everybody in my living room will see that. So I'm going to run the knife blade up in there and go up under that armpit and keep the blade in the skin, not pulling the tip out, and trace it straight across till I come out right there. Now what I've done is I've made an incision from that deer's armpit straight across to this shoulder. All that will tuck around the backside of my deer mount. Now, before I get the hide down in my way, I'm going to pull that hide away from the leg, peel it out just like that. Okay? There is the inside done. There's the outside done. I'm probably in your way, but there you go. Right there. That's what some of you wanted to see right there. That bullet was just right under the edge of the skin, passed all the way through and bounced off the far shoulder. Fully mushroomed out. Most of it's still there. I'll clean it up and give you a better look some other time. Now that's as far as I can go on this side without going to the other side and working. But I'm pretty much done here, and I'm going to start being careful because I'm probably going to mount this deer. Anyways, I'm going to go around and work on this nasty side, and it's, well, you don't want to watch me work on that side. So anyways, I'm going to get to work. I'll bring you back when we get down to the neck. Well, that's how you skin a deer. You don't have to skin them this far down the neck. I just did that because I'm going to cape this deer to have it mounted. And it's easier to skin this meat off the neck while the neck's attached, or skin the hide off the neck while it's attached to the deer. Because once you cut these muscles and saw through that spinal cord, all these muscles just move around. If you do all this while it's hanging, the weight of the hide pulls it most of the way down. Your deer's intact, your muscles are intact, so you can skin it all the way down. I mean, I'm right behind the ears right there. And I used to be a taxidermist, dabbled in it, ran a shop for a little while for another guy. And so I know that whether I cape this deer out or I take it up there and let them cape it out, it's much easier. Even if you want to saw it off here, it's easier to skin this, if you're going to mount it, it's easier to skin it from here to there, hanging, than it is to skin it from here to there once you've sawed the neck off. So you get all the meat. Now most of the deer in Arkansas, they're not going to have necks like this on them. I mean, that deer's got a really big neck, and he's been hanging all night stretched out, and it's still big. So I'm going to cut in right here and cut through the meat, and that'll drop my head off the deer. And then I'll go to quartering it up and cleaning it up and taking it inside to process. So I'm going to make an incision. When you do this, you want to make sure that wherever you start to cut, if you're going to keep the hide, that your hide is not in the way of the saw. So it's easier to saw bone than it is meat. So what I do is I make a cut right there with my knife all the way around. That's where the big muscles end. It starts tapering down to the neck from here. When I was doing a one-on-one with Uncle Jim over on his channel, I told the story of killing my first deer. And I shot the deer and it didn't die. And I was afraid it was going to get away. I was 12 years old. I was by myself. I walked 2 miles from my home. I was in a military installation that was closed to the public, but I'd snuck in there and went hunting. I'd shot this deer, and on Red Dawn, they said if you shoot twice, they can always pinpoint you. So I didn't want to shoot again, so I thought I'm going to have to kill this thing with my bare hands. I didn't have a knife or nothing. So I jumped on this deer and started like trying to break its neck like they did in the karate movies. You know, you watch when a kid, they just grab their head and twist it and their neck breaks. I thought, man, I can jump on this deer and just grab his head. So I kind of had him in this scissor leg lock with my arm under his chin, and I had a hold of the back of his head, and I'm twisting, and he's just bellowing, and it never worked because they have too many muscles in their neck. But if you cut all the muscles loose, the heads will come right off. Just like that. So there you have it. A fully skinned deer all the way down to the back of the neck. You can tell where I cut through it, and he's skint to right here. Easy to cape out. So now I'll start by taking the shoulders and the neck meat off. I'll lower it down, I'll pull the back straps, and lastly I'll take the hams off. And you can watch any butcher channel and see that. I don't have anything special there. So probably the last time you see him until we do some cooking videos, or he keeps kicking me in the head, one or the other. Thank you guys for watching.